Chapter 16. Important Identification. As Nancy and Ned were saying goodnight later, he laughed. "You'll make a detective out of me yet, Nancy Drew." Then he became serious. "Here's an idea. Who is it that the gang is afraid of?" "The police, of course." "That's where you're wrong," Ned said. "It was Nancy Drew they tried to kidnap, not Chief McGinnis." Nancy smiled. "Yes, go on." "It was you who caught that woman this evening. The gang will lie low for a while if you're around. But if you disappear, they'll come out of hiding, and the police can capture them." Ned grinned from ear to ear. "Which will leave you free for the big evening, to give me your entire attention." Nancy laughed. "To think I fell for that. You win, Ned. Only no ifs or buts. I have tickets for a picnic and dance some of my local fraternity brothers are giving." Nancy assured Ned that she wanted to attend the party. "But if I should run into a clue that I had to follow up, you wouldn't mind, would you?" "You're a hound for punishment," Ned teased. "Oh well, if you do get a chance to crack the case, count me in. Another black eye won't matter. And something else. No work Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday we go to the yacht club races, and 4th of July belongs to your dad, he told me." "I'll remember." Early the next morning, Nancy telephoned the police captain and learned that the prisoner still refused to talk. She suggested bringing Linda Seeley to headquarters to see if the girl could identify her. It was possible that at some time the woman might have called at the Leitner Entertainment Company or attended one of the parties they had arranged. Hopefully, Nancy picked up Linda at her office. The chief of police had them conducted to the prisoner. Nancy watched closely to see if she recognized Linda. The girl detective was sure that the woman did, but the sign was so slight that Nancy did not bother to mention it. "Have you changed your mind about talking to the police?" Nancy asked her. The only response was a hateful glare. Then the woman turned her back. The girls returned to Chief McGinnis's office. "I'm sure I've seen your prisoner before," Linda reported. "Where?" he asked. "Unless my memory is playing a trick on me, she was in Mr. Leitner's office to see about a party. She never gave it, though." "She talked to Mr. Leitner?" Nancy asked. "No, to Mr. Tombar. Mr. Leitner was away, but Mr. Tombar used his private office. Soon after the woman came in, he sent me on an errand." "So that you couldn't hear their conversation," Nancy surmised. Chief McGinnis was very much interested in this bit of information. He suggested that perhaps Linda could identify something found on the prisoner. Detectives had questioned her several times since her arrest, without the slightest success. Not a single clue as to her real identity had been obtained, and every tag had been removed from her clothing. "But our policewoman did find this," the chief said, taking a piece of unusual jewelry from his desk drawer. "Oh, yes, that bracelet came from Leitner's," Linda told him. "We rent it to go with the Turkish costume." "You've been a great help, Miss Seeley," the chief said. "Maybe now that woman will talk." The girls waited to hear the result, but it was negative. She still would admit nothing. Nancy was tempted to tell the chief her suspicions about the numerous crates at the Blue Iris Inn, but realizing that she must have more specific evidence before accusing Tombar, she merely said, "Chief McGinnis, if I should need some police assistance to do a little investigating during the next few days, can you arrange it?" "Certainly. Any time, and thanks for your help so far," Chief McGinnis said. "By the way," he added, "we questioned Snecker about the stolen miniature. Naturally, he insists that he doesn't know how it got into the store. We're keeping our eye on him anyhow." "I'm sure he'll bear watching," Nancy agreed. The girls left headquarters, and Nancy drove Linda back to work. On a hunch, she asked for Tom Barr's address and went to his house. As she had suspected, it was vacant, and a neighbor told her that he and his wife had moved away rather unexpectedly. "Do you have his forwarding address?" Nancy asked, thinking that Tom Barr's sudden departure looked like an admission of guilt. "No, I don't. They went at night and didn't even say goodbye." "This is my unlucky day," Nancy reflected gloomily. Her next stop was at Taylor's department store, where she talked to the young clerk in the receiving and marketing department. He assured her that Mr. Snecker was back at work. At the moment, however, he was away from the store, delivering merchandise in one of the trucks. "I didn't know anyone in your department is supposed to do that," Nancy said. "We don't usually," the clerk answered. "But when Mr. Snecker's asthma gets bad, he likes to get out. So he sometimes drives in place of a man who's taking the day off." Nancy did not comment, but she wondered if the manager of Taylor's knew about this. "Will Mr. Snecker be here in the department tomorrow?" she inquired. "No, he's going to take an extra long 4th of July holiday and is starting on a trip this evening. In fact, he won't be back after work today." Nancy was greatly disappointed. She did not want to discontinue work on the case. But with dates of her own and a 4th of July celebration with her father, there was no chance for further sleuthing until Friday. But on Friday morning, she discovered that Taylor's department store, as well as many other businesses in town, was closed. She walked to the office of the auctioneer to inquire whether Mr. Tom Barr had bought any of the furnishings of the Blue Iris Inn. But she found that it would not open until Monday. "Anyway, I can ride out to the old inn and look around there again," Nancy thought. "I'll be back in plenty of time to dress for the picnic tonight. I wonder if Bess would go along. But first I'll stop to see how George is." Bess was there, reading to her cousin. George appeared wan and unhappy. "My, I'm glad you came, Nancy," Bess exclaimed. "George has been frightfully worried that something might have happened to you." "To me? What an idea!" Nancy laughed it off. "I worry every minute that you'll get into real danger," George confessed. "Why, I've been so good lately it hurts," Nancy replied. She still could not understand her friend's strange attitude. Quickly, Nancy steered the conversation away from the mystery. But secretly, the young detective was eager to get to work. After a while, she glanced at her watch. "Where are you going now, Nancy?" George asked anxiously. "I was thinking of a little ride into the country to a place called the Blue Iris Inn." "Oh, no, please don't! Bess told me about it." "I couldn't help it, Nancy." Bess spoke up quietly. "George wormed it out of me." "You mustn't go there alone, Nancy," George said urgently. Bess said quickly, "I'll go with you, Nancy, if you want me to." George twisted her hands nervously. "Don't do it," she pleaded. "Anything you girls might learn isn't worth the risk." Bess and Nancy tried to soothe their chum. "Besides," Nancy declared reassuringly, "it'll have to be a short trip. I must be back soon to keep a date with Ned. We're going to a picnic some of his fraternity brothers are giving." Later, while driving toward the inn, they discussed George's bewildering attitude. "I wish the doctors could find out what's wrong with her," Nancy said. "What if she never gets better?" Bess asked in a trembling voice. "Don't suggest such a thing," Nancy chided. The next moment, she noted a green sedan some distance ahead. Warily, she slowed down. Soon the girls neared the old inn. The car ahead turned into the driveway. Nancy wondered if Tom Barr was in it. "Oh, we can't stop there now!" Bess exclaimed in alarm. "We'll be spotted if we do." "I'll drive past and park," she told Bess. "We must walk back without being seen. I want to get a look at that driver." A moment later, the girls sighted the car parked near a side entrance of the Blue Iris Inn. As they passed, a man slipped from behind the wheel. "Peter Tombar!" Nancy exclaimed softly. "If he's here for the reason I think he is, maybe this will turn out to be my luckiest day yet. Get ready, Bess. We must do some sleuthing." End of chapter 16.